Waiting on Ron, I guess, to come back in.
We can get through roll call and the approval of the minutes. While we
Okay.
vote.
3 o'clock, bring the meeting to opening. Would you call the roll, please?
Of course. Welcome, everyone. Chair Athern,
Present.
Vice Chair Weston,
Present.
Member Robish.
Present.
Please let the record show Member Hartman and Member Werner are absent.
Okay, we will move to the second item on the agenda, 2A, approval of our minutes. I hope everyone's had a chance to read or listen to the previous meeting to approve those minutes. Do I have a motion?
Since I wasn't here, I probably shouldn't be able to make the motion.
I make the motion.
And I guess I can second it.
Yes, you may.
Would you call the roll, please?
Sure. Vice Chair Weston,
Abstain? Well, actually, I have to vote yes, don't
you
I?
can, yeah, you can vote for the minutes.
Okay,
It's
You can
okay.
vote.
Yes, I listened to it. I vote yes.
Okay. Vice Chair Weston,
Yes.
okay. Member Robich,
Yes.
sorry, I got myself confused, I apologize. And Chair Athern.
Yes. Moving to the first item on our new business, presentation from Farmington Speaker Robbie Lee. I don't see him
Mr.
here.
Lee's not here yet. I confirmed with them on Friday, so he might be running a little late.
Okay. Can I move to the next item, and we'll come back to that one?
At your discretion, ma'am.
We want to consider the approval of the meeting dates. I didn't see a list of the dates.
I'm sorry?
I didn't see a list of the dates
I
for
believe-
2026.
I believe that the resolution says quarterly.
It's in our email. The
Yeah.
dates are February 16th,
Yes.
May 18th, August 17th, and November 16th of 2006.
I'm sorry.
2026.
So February 16th and then...
16, May 18th,
Okay.
August 17th, November 16th.
I would have a special request that we could get together in January. Since this is my first meeting back, being gone for a bit, I personally need some time to orient so I get a better feel for what we're going at and where we need to be. Also because there are 2 other members that I need to talk to about these things.
Okay.
I know that we are looking for a replacement for one of our members.
I think
No, I think we have 5.
we have 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, Randy Hartman was appointed.
Oh, okay. So I would like to try and have everybody here if we could on January so that we can kind of get a bearing.
I'll talk to the clerk.
That would be terrific.
Okay.
Only
Yeah,
because
that's a
there's been
great
so many
idea.
absences. I think that I want to get a good foothold
Okay.
for January, then when we go to the February meeting. We could even do it as a workshop if that's possible.
I'll talk with Sharon, see if what she can work out.
All right, as y'all know, I'm still not all together, so I'm kind of working on one leg.
Understandable.
Okay, so we'll approve those. Can I have a motion to approve those dates with the addition of possibly a January workshop?
So moved?
I agree. Second the motion.
Could you call the roll, please?
Vice Chair Weston,
Yes.
Member Robich,
Yes.
Chair Athern.
Yes. And discussion on the new maps with updated land purchases under the current bond issue. The only map that I had looked at in the past was this one that showed the purchase of the property behind Walmart. That was a pretty big purchase.
Yeah, 25 acres.
And then you have one in hold that we were looking at back in June, I guess.
Yeah, the Minton tracks, I mean, that's 4E, so that's fine. Yeah, on the Minton tracks, you can see there's 2 of them there. One is on Jungle Road. I've got the appraisals done on those. The Jungle Road one came in at 385. I'm comfortable with that one, making an offer. The problem is Miss Minton wanted to sell them as a package, so it runs us to the other one, which is on 44. The appraisal came in at 350,000. There's some questions on the actual layout of the property that I'm working out with the appraisers, but the track from the one appraiser is as indicated. And what we have there is you've got a tract of property, and then in the middle is a separate piece of property which is it's owned by DOT. It was deeded to DOT for the purposes of retention area. So do we really need to purchase it since it's already, I mean, both appraisers said the property's basically undevelopable. There's really nothing can happen to it. So it's just for your consideration if you think it's worth still trying to acquire.
I do, and I say that because in between these two roads, in between State Road 44 and Jungle Road, that would allow us access through a wooded section in order to keep the land fairly clear of fire hazard. That's also an area that was never looked at for any materials or debris that could have been left historically, because originally in the early 60s, that section of the creek was dredged by Hanson McAllister while they were still trying to develop Ellison Acres. So some of that land, the dredging went into that land. So I would like to still pursue it. I would like to speak to Linda Mitten and talk to her about those appraisals. Have you spoken to her about these?
No, I wanted to talk to the committee first to get your opinions.
I think she'd be willing to discuss with us if we sat down with her and showed her the appraiser and appraisals and explained it to her and tried to make her.
Yeah, if you want to set up a meeting between the three of us.
I think I'd like to.
That's fine.
Do you, y'all
My
have-
last,
I agree with you, 100%. I am interested in the legals, though, with the DOT property. How often they have access, do they have to maintain it?
they have to maintain the retention area, so I'm going to guess in the deed, there's certainly a right of access through the property as well.
So that where the access is, that would be important for us.
Yeah, I'm trying, and those are some of the things I'm trying to work out, is where those things are on there. My feeling, I mean, last I spoke with Ms. Minton was she wanted $1.25 million, and I thought that was more than what should be willing to purchase for these properties.
She may not have been aware of how much parcel was DOT.
Yeah, so we can have that conversation with her after the holidays if you'd like, Don.
Okay.
Is any of the property developable?
I think you're allowed to put a tower on it. I think the front piece was allowed with a tower. I spoke to
With a what, you said?
a tower. I was talking
tower?
with Robert Mathan about what could possibly be on the
Oh, a
parcel.
cell tower? Okay,
And she could still sell to them as still and have a tower put on there, but do we want to see a phone tower stuck there? So
yeah.
again, it was, I think that if we talk with Robert Mathan, with what zoning has on this, because it is B3, it is in the business zoning, and there is a possibility that there could be something placed there. I'd rather not have blocked access. I'd like to have access.
All right, I'll get with Bob, get more details, and then I'll get with you on setting up a meeting with Ms. Minton after we get some of those additional details.
And we can do that in the January workshop.
Yeah, well, you and I can meet with her and come to
Yes.
an agreement and then bring
Once
it.
once you have your breakdown on this property from Robert Mathan and from what DOT accesses are, that we can present a full package to her to explain it, then
Right.
I think we're in better shape.
Okay,
So I'll just let her know we're talking and that we will get back to her on a meeting time.
okay.
On this satellite photo, it does show a road, a trail off of 44 leading back to that retention pond.
Yeah, it's shown here also on our copy, very faintly.
Yeah.
Okay,
And that's where that gate is when you drive off of it in 44. It sits back a little ways. There's a gate there, and then it takes him back to that DOT portion. I haven't been back there in years, so I don't know. But we'll make that arrangement.
Okay.
All right, so that covered also item 4E, you said, to
4E,
discuss the
yeah.
current appraisals?
Yeah, also, if you'd like to, I gave you another aerial. Mr. Haig owns the 2 parcels under a corporation called the Pinkerton One LLC. To the right or east of those 2 parcels there is the Platinum Properties that we purchased, the 32 acres. So it's contiguous. It builds a little contiguity of area. The total acreage of the 2 tracts combined is a little over 7 acres. He hasn't given me a price, but if you're interested in pursuing those, I'll proceed with the appraisal process.
Okay, can you orient us to where the creek actually flows?
The creek is to the east.
And I see the map doesn't show me east. So this is the top, this lake is the top of the lake that connects to the campground.
Correct.
Okay, so now that's to the north then. And so the east,
Yeah, Doster Road is south. You can see Doster Road there.
I see Doster. That goes back to where that pond connects at Doster and to Bolton. Okay,
Correct.
you're way back there on Corbin Park Road.
Yeah, I've been back in there. That's a great piece of property. The Timberlane Drive, is there the potential for a continuation of that? Is there right of way or anything?
That strip there is platted right of way. So it's not private, it belongs to, I'm gonna guess right now, it belongs to the county.
Okay,
But we can, once we annex the other side, then we would take ownership of that.
excellent. Yeah, this is a nice piece of property right there.
Yeah, and what we can do, we can discuss that once I get some information, but I believe, since we own both sides of the road, if we acquire this, we could vacate that right-of-way, half and half would split, and at that point, it would make it real property as opposed to right-of-way, and possibly eliminate any potential for a road going through there.
However, a road would be nice to go through there because of the density of this wooded area.
Correct.
Well, for controlled burns and things like that.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of that. I wanted to go to a different item. All right, so,
Well, we can, we can vacate it as right-of-way, but we can still put a access easement for
Right.
it.
So let's decide, do you want to pursue getting the appraisal on this? How do you guys feel?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Can I have a motion
So moved
to,
Second.
to do the 2 appraisals.
on these 2 parcels?
Yep.
Is it gonna be 2 separate appraisals on the 2 parcels or one?
Since they're contiguous and it's the same ownership, I'm gonna do it as a combined unit.
Okay.
So then it's 1. So the motion should be for.
Well, we need 2 appraisals from 2 separate appraisers
Yes, for the same parcel.
Yeah,
for the same combined 2 parcels.
So I would move that we go ahead and we get an appraisal on both properties twice as we need to by law.
Correct.
All right, I'm just looking to how is this all gonna connect?
Do we need a second on that?
Yeah, we're gonna need a second.
I second.
Could you call the roll, please?
Absolutely. Member Robich,
Yes.
Vice Chair Weston,
Yes.
Chair Athern.
Yes. Okay, so we're gonna go for appraisal on that. I'm gonna take her and take Tiffany. Okay, now I am looking at what we have already purchased and where we are already. So I had at 125.37 acres, we've just added the 20 acres, 25 acres behind Publix. What other acreage have we added to our collection?
Do you have the 32 from Platinum in there?
Nope.
Yeah, I've got our GIS guys putting this together, and I'm gonna have it's hard working with these small maps, so I'm gonna get you guys 3x4 maps. So he's got the stock for that on order. So what would probably be better is to get the bigger maps for you. I can get those to you before the workshop, and we can discuss it. Then have it, you can study it along with the other things, and then you'll hopefully have a full board in January at the workshop.
That would be terrific. And then we can work better from that, like we did the other big maps we had,
Yes,
and start our book new?
correct.
Okay.
It's been over a year since I've been back in the property behind Publix. There was a lot of debris and stuff back there. Is that something that we will have the manpower to clean and the budget to clean up?
Correct. Actually, we're still monitoring it for homeless, so the homeless were in there, and actually, we held off on closing until we called the owner and said, one, you need to get it cleaned up, and two, you need to get the homeless out of there. So then we kept monitoring it, and then once we got the thumbs up from the PD and Public Works that it had been cleaned up, we moved forward with the closing. Now it's our responsibility to keep it cleaned up and keep the homeless out of there, which we're doing. We're getting signs printed up to say no camping. So because it's a passive recreational type property, we can post it no camping. So, and hopefully give us the authority to keep people out of there.
Okay. Thank you.
So I'm going to check off item 4C because we have discussed getting these new maps and updates for
Yes, ma'am.
those in a larger form and updating our purchases already.
Yes.
Just so that you know, I did the math. We're up to 184 plus acres. That's a lot of land brought in. I noticed, didn't see it on the agenda for public participation. I skipped past it. Please pardon me for that. May I ask, is there anyone with any public participation that would like to speak to our group? Forgive me for delaying that. I overlooked that.
That's okay. Cindy Snezak, if you could all pull your mics a little closer, because there's so few people in the chamber, it's really echoey, and so your voices kind of fade out, and for those of us that are a little older, the hearing isn't
You bet.
perfect.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Is anyone else interested in speaking to our group for public participation? Seeing none, I would like to recognize that we have David Ray here, and I thank you for coming. I would like to ask you, though, if you could give us an update on the fire breaks and what you have been working with Robbie Lee with, just to enlighten the group.
Sure. So back in the fall, working with Robbie, he put us in touch with Cameron Greenland. He's the field supervisor for the Florida Forest Service. We did come to an agreement where the area that is just east of the South Turnbull Canal and kind of behind Walker Drive, they were able to cut 2 fire lanes there, or fire lines. It'll protect the homes in that area. God forbid there is a fire or anything along that. We did give them the ability to cut the lines there for and essentially treat 16.5 acres of wooded area that is behind there. Wow. And they started on that the week of October 13th.
Cool.
So they are done and complete with their fire lines at this point.
So that's the section south of 44. How far in?
They actually started about 20 to 40 feet in, and they went all the way back.
All the way back to where it meets the creek?
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, my. Now, are they going to be able to work with us to go north?
We are working on that at this point. Nothing has been set in stone. They wanted to try and get this done first because they had other things that they had to get done. So we worked quickly with them so they can get in there in October, and then we're going to reassess any other areas that we feel, would need the help as we get more to the spring season.
Yeah.
But they have been, the Florida Fire Service has been more than helpful. They've been gracious and willing to help any chance they get.
Wonderful. And you'll be staying in touch with them going
Yes.
forward to get more of that land cleared?
Yes.
Beautiful. It's a beautiful thing when we
Yep.
can team up, isn't it?
And you've done some controlled burns successfully, haven't you?
Well, the city hasn't. The Florida Fire Service has.
Right, uh-huh.
Yes, sir.
And I would guess that there's a lot of expertise that's being learned on that we can bring over to the city side too,
Yes.
right? Excellent.
Good. Thank you so very much for coming
No problem.
and letting people know about that. It's a big thing.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, it is.
It's a very big thing. Okay, so we're going to move to item number 4D. We're going to do a discussion on prioritizing areas of concern and target locations. After last week's meeting, I didn't see anything on a new map that changed my perspective. I believe we need to target the areas that have potential for development. And according to our other maps, most of those areas were on the north side of town, where we have larger portions along the creek that can be developed or bought to be developed. Which brings me to a question to ask to the city. In some places throughout the state, they have limited purchasing of large parcels of land for a developer to come in and bring in large tract homes. One of those places was in Clearwater, where they stopped you from buying more than 10 acres and required you to have less than 10 acres, and they refused to allow any large tract development in that 10 acres. So no more than 2 homes per acre. So they kept it in large quantities, large land quantities. Is that something that the city could possibly look at a future date?
No, it cannot because of the provisions of Senate Bill 180 that was recently passed. Any ordinances that were not into effect prior to a specific date before Hurricane Ian, we cannot put any new, more restrictive land use regulations in place.
I believe that thing has to get challenged somewhere.
Well, it is being
It
challenged.
is being challenged.
Yeah. Senate Bill 180, it does have an expiration though in 27, doesn't it?
That's correct, unless we have another hurricane. So it's self-perpetuating based on hurricanes. So unless there's not a hurricane between now and the date in 27, which would then require new legislation be passed, it's self-perpetuating based on the occurrence of hurricanes. So from that standpoint, we got out of it this year, so we got another 2 years to work through.
But I'm not aware of any large developments that want to come into New Smyrna Beach right now. Are you, Donna?
Only through rumor. Only rumor. It's nothing I'd ever bring up to public record until I absolutely know for sure. But I did know of that particular thing happening in Clearwater.
Clearwater, yeah.
Yeah,
Were they-
and they may have passed that legislation prior to the effective date of
Mhm.
Senate Bill 180, but we're unable to do that.
Yeah, I think that does need to get challenged, but especially in an area where we have had flooding, significant flooding, and that qualifies that is that we were qualified for that emergency watershed management program. I think that would give us grounds to say, no, thank you, your way is not the right way for this particular area. Also, there's the building requirements of having something instead of allowing homes up on slabs, that they be built elevated so that there's a crawl space underneath the dwelling to prevent property damage and to allow flow of water out. That was something that was also done in Louisiana after their hurricane that flooded the entire city. The city refused to allow anybody to build other than on stilts or on platforms higher than the surface of the land flow. So there's some possibilities we can work with on that later.
Well, I think education is legally, depending on how the challenges go, is probably our best access to sustainability.
Yeah.
So the more that we can do early on with any size development to educate them on the efficacy of building better, as in Babcock Ranch and stuff like that. I think that's probably something that's imperative for us to do as a city. I don't know if there are any incentives that we could give people to build better, but it certainly, in the long run, would pay for itself.
That can be done with, through zoning at some point. If an option is if the home builder agrees to certain home designs with certain features, there's a possibility of legislating in greater density. So there's some quid pro quo can be given, give a little here, give a little there from the other side. So there's things that can be done legislatively. Right now, we have provisions in our code that allows for greater density for projects that support workforce housing. So we can exceed density levels for workforce housing developments. So we can do something similar in that case, that if the development were to include elevated home structures, then we could agree to provide additional densities, but that would take a code amendment on our part.
That would be this north section if something were to go. That whole north section of large parcels would be that section.
Yeah, and another thing, just to let the board know, there has been discussions by the commission to possibly look at earmarking funds for land acquisition in the future, strictly to support stormwater protections.
Going to come to it.
As you're aware, the city is beginning its phase 2 of its citywide stormwater master plan, which should be done in probably about a year from now. And the outcome of that master plan will be the actual delineation of specific stormwater projects throughout the city. So therefore, this plan is going to create a roadmap, so to speak, of stormwater projects throughout the city, identify properties that can accomplish those stormwater goals, and then part of what Tony's been hired to do, in addition to the other things that we're doing, the plan is to then have Tony earmark the land acquisition for those projects.
I listened to Ben Bartlett's last presentation from the county on stormwater. I was pretty impressed with what the county's doing. I'm sure that we're working closely with the county.
Yes.
Tony, are you also going to be doing grant work?
I will be doing that as well, yes.
He'll be working in concert with our grants manager.
Okay. Now I want to bring us back to our agenda. Let's go to item number 4F. I believe we covered pretty much all the other items. On 4F, let's discuss the volunteer partners. What is the volunteer partners? The ones I know of is Marine Discovery Center, because if we have access of 5 feet on both sides of the Turnbull Creek, where they can bring day camps, adult day camps, student programs there through the summer, to take samples out of the water, to look at fish types in the water. And they also have people who are willing to come out and walk the woods and clean it up. That's the one I know of. Does anyone else have some input with that?
Tony, any conservation or land use groups you're familiar with?
Could you come up to your microphone?
Oh, yeah.
Only because I listened to the last meeting and I could barely hear any of you.
Okay.
So, yes.
Yeah, Tony, are there any conservation or type groups that you're familiar with that could
I'd
partner
have to
with
look
us?
into who's around in this city and such. We always have Boy Scouts too that are always looking for projects.
Terrific. Okay, can we add that item to our possible January workshop to discuss some more of that? That's what I'm going to do to it, January workshop. And then, so I'll check that one off. And then on item 4G, Natural Resource Manager. That's you,
That's me,
your new title, Natural Resource Manager.
yes.
So you're going to be the guy who's going to help us get maintenance, land clearing, working with possibly the ECO grant programs, that thing with the county?
Well, the ultimate goal of the position, and that's why, and I'm going to try and coordinate with Robbie. Something may have came up. if you're okay having him at the workshop.
Yes, indeed.
So I'll try and reschedule him for the workshop in January. And Kevin and I have spoken about this at length, and he and I both agree that it's important for us, as we've acquired these lands, is to develop an overall management plan for these properties. And that's why I wanted to have Robbie come in and talk about the Farmington system and how they do it, and give them the opportunity to give us some input on what should go into a land management plan for our conservation properties. And that's right now the two main tasks that Tony's being tagged to do, and that is continue with the land acquisition under the Turnbull program, and to start working with this board and outside entities to help develop an overall land management plan for these properties that we're acquiring.
Yeah, we're lucky that Farmington has as much experience as they do. I've been pretty impressed speaking with their team about the intricacies of land management.
Correct. And certainly once we develop the plan, then we can develop income resources, internal income resources, to fund those, and then as we move forward with the implementation of the plan, targeting those grant programs that can assist in the implementation of the overall management plan. So the commission, before they start throwing money at projects, I think they want, and it's what Kevin's feeling is, they want to see an overall plan. What are the components of that plan? What are these things that we do every 1, 3, 5, 10 years in terms of managing and taking care of these properties?
Have we bonded the last of our remaining funds?
Yes, the last funding has been acquired. It's $5.5 million sitting in the bank, ready to spend.
How do we do on the bond acquisition? Did we get a good deal?
We didn't do a formal bond. What we did was we did a RFP for bank financing, 20-year bank financing.
Okay, great.
So it saved us probably $50,000 or $60,000 in issuance costs by doing it that way.
That's
as
great.
Opposed to a bond.
Excellent.
That's good. I'll include that with staff report. For committee comments, well, welcome aboard, Tony.
Thank you.
Committee comments. I read an article in the Hometown News. It's out in this week's paper in the Hometown News, December 12th. It came out on Friday, December 12th. And this one is stating that the Volusia Echo has shifted their dates. As you know, I had that meeting with them, and they're highly interested in taking on the parcels between Jungle Road and where it connects from Jungle Road all the way up to the new park at Otter Park, the Howland Park. They would be interested in getting in on that. Their dates have changed, so I'm going to pass this now to you, Tony, so that you are aware of the dates of those grant issues and when they would be available, when we would have deadlines, what we'd need for an engineering plan. And their thinking is to do paths where they can extend that golf thing,
Disc golf?
the golf game thing, and to make paths where people can walk. Clearing out the underbrush, which gives us a better handle on forest management. They are liking the idea because it will connect all of the projects they have done in that north side of town, where that park is, all the way down to the Jungle Road parcel. That's a lot of land. I believe it equaled 57 acres. So I think getting in touch with them and talking to them a little more seriously about that would be part of what I'd like to discuss also in January to move forward with them. Since those dates are stretched now into June, I think we have a lot of room to work with that.
What I would ask is if you and I and Tony can meet to discuss the scope, kind of get some ideas of range of scope that you're looking at. We're limited on to how many ECHO grants we can apply for. So we can take that project and that scope into account and then I will have to then talk to Kevin, because we have other projects that we're targeting for Echo, and then we'll have to make a determination and prioritize which ones that we fund.
Yeah, they were very happy to say they would give you full line of money for it. And again, it's to connect what they've done so far with the path and the bicycle trails to what they already have up at the north end of town with that park.
Yeah, and if they're willing to do that as a county project and not a city project, then that would be.
We can talk to them about it,
Yeah, so let's.
but they were very receptive.
Let's get the three of us together to talk about that and see how we want to proceed.
And we can add that to our agenda also for January. I can meet with them before we have a meeting in January, just to get a better feel for what they have coming in from other places in the
Okay.
county.
Well,
Should-
I'd ask for Tony to be involved in some of those conversations.
Of course.
with them.
Can we invite Phil Levesky to the workshop in January?
Sure.
I think we have enough different angles that is a really, really good story to tell about all these different things that have come together. Stormwater, public recreation, protecting in perpetuity the properties, land management, and Tony, your involvement now. I think there's a whole lot of really good stuff to talk about.
I agree. That was my portion of the committee, additive I had. How about staff report?
I think I've covered everything I had, other than Tony will be sitting here in my stead for future meetings. I will come in from time to time, but Tony will be the lead liaison to this committee on all future activities.
Yay. I mean, no, not that we're bad.
I got it, I got
it. You know. Well,
Now you're in trouble.
it's been a long ride. Sorry it's over, but we're
Tony,
glad to have you on to help us out. And
No,
a
I
new
think-
face can always have new input, so that's a good thing. It never hurts.
No, I think it'll be a good thing. This is Tony's full-time effort, as opposed to me having the availability of a fraction of my time, given the other things I have to deal with.
Well, Ron, you've been wonderful.
Thank you.
Really good job, man. And Tony, I haven't met you before. It's very nice to meet you. Could you just tell us a tiny bit about yourself?
Oh, I've been in this part of the world since '78. I'm originally from the Midwest, like many of us are from somewhere else. I worked for the Water Management District for about 17 years, and then went private consulting for the last basically 20. And when I saw this position advertised, I jumped at it.
Wonderful.
I actually was working for the consultant that did your Turnbull Creek study back before COVID. I did all the eco side of that stuff and the GIS work.
Nice.
So I'm getting to come back and see the back end of the project now.
Nice.
A lot was done. It's been a big project.
Well, anything you can put us to work to do to support what you're doing, put us to work.
Will do. And I want to get out to a lot of the sites. That's one of my high priorities, is get out to the sites and know them personally.
I'll be
I
happy to
actually-
take you on the tour.
The Jungle Road
The
property.
swamp stomp.
Yeah, the Jungle Road property between Jungle Road and Pioneer Trail. I actually did that entire site when it was slated for development back in, I don't know, 15, 16. And so I know that one like too well. I measured every tree out there on the site.
Yeah, the south section is a big section. We were able to move through a lot of that, but, and it's nice that we got it all done. But again, there's still depth and width of velocity and capacity of water needed to be able to fix it totally. It's not gonna happen in my lifetime probably, but I didn't think I'd see the creek ever cleaned at all,
Well,
so.
you had so much to do with that. Thank you so much. It's just wonderful to see how much of the creek has been cleaned out.
That wouldn't have happened if we hadn't flooded, you know that.
Yes.
That would not have happened if I
The
hadn't
good from the
forced
bad.
my hand to make people fill out applications.
Could I just revisit the Pinkerton map real quick? Because as I'm locating it, it seems to me fairly, I mean, it's west of Corbin Park area. Is that Am I correct on the location? If we go to this, the one map that we have with all of our acquired in the property that's adjacent to Turnbull Bay, this is what I'm looking at. So this is that. So this property is like over in this area. So that's, the Pinkerton property is right here. That's, to me, that's relatively.
You're right.
The Pinkerton property is fair.
You're aiming at a section that's on page the other direction.
Ah, okay, then I guess
So no,
then we can't do it. I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good.
you're over by where they bought that piece.
Okay, yeah.
That Pinkerton property.
Yeah, the turn up on the other end.
Okay, we're good. I'll reach out to him.
See, I thought that was the creek
Right.
that was south, then the other end of it empties out at
Yes,
the.
because I know, that's, when you said, which way is this oriented? I knew that you thought it was like, this was north. Yes, yeah, but it's, yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay,
The other end. Nope, we don't want to go there.
you
No,
don't want to go there.
all right.
Yeah, we
I
don't
can
want to
rest-
go
I can
there.
rest easy now, because that would
Yeah,
bother me.
that's parcels that you'd buy to turn into a floodplain. And you know, that's what that land is.
Yeah.
It was always a floodplain. It was where all the overflow that got caught between Glencoe Road and Corbin Park Road, and that's where it dumped.
Right.
Because the cow pasture, which is the clearing that you see on that tan section, that cow pasture was always flooded on the back half of it. That's why they moved the cows to the front every storm, and they have the barns up by the front. So yes, I was wrong.
So the committee does not want.
No.
Correct.
Okay, got
So
it.
now,
No, you don't need,
please remove that from our,
you don't need to do anything because the motion is unenforceable, so you don't have to
Okay.
change anything.
yay. Did anyone have any other items to bring up for the committee today?
Nope,
Can I ask that each of us make a list for the workshop?
absolutely.
That we go through the material we already have. Let's take a closer look at the maps that we will receive. Now, the larger maps, I don't know how you're going to get them to us unless we stop by your office and pick them up.
Yeah,
That would be
I'll let you
fine.
know when they're ready.
And then we can each come by and pick up the maps. And then that gives us some time to visually look at them, study them, and make our own plan to bring to the board, to discuss it and have better knowledge of where we want to prioritize. We've done really well laying out the priorities we had, so from the beginning. Now let's do that a little better. And then volunteer programs or any kind of input for how do we get the maintenance, help with maintenancing this land. Now, I got with Robbie Lee about the fire hazard part. That made me nervous, especially when Marlon was burning logs out in the backyard and he caught a palm tree on fire, and I saw how fast that thing burned. So that made me really nervous. So going forward with that, let's get a bearing on where we want to be with land clearing and who else possibly we can call for that. Does that sound like a good plan? And then you'll get with us on when we can meet
Yeah.
for the eco grant.
Yeah, any questions or information you need, Tony's, so just get with Sharon and send the committee, she has their email database.
Okay.
So he'll send you his contact information.
That would be great.
So you can forward any questions, comments, or things to Tony. And as a reminder, you can't speak amongst yourself
Right.
beforehand.
And then that way we can get together before I can get with the eco people and get a bearing on where they feel they can help.
Okay. So I have a question. How familiar are y'all with Google Earth?
Very.
Honestly, for large maps, I love using Google Earth. That way we can move and zoom and go where we need to go to see where we are in the world. So I would say that'd be the most efficient way to distribute these maps, is just send you KMZs of what we're looking at, and we can have it literally and move it up on the screen as we're talking.
Works for me.
Yeah,
Sounds
Google,
good.
Google Earth Pro is really good.
It is, yeah.
In Farmington, one thing we didn't discuss today is Farmington is also removing invasive species, non-native species. as part of their overall land management plan. So that's something we'll need to keep on the burner.
And USDA still has money available for that. I think they begin again in February. I want to say it's February when their fiscal year starts. So, but I will get with Brian Zielinski and get some input from him for the workshop, that we can have some more information on what they can do and dates and deadlines for those grants available, and if they have anything for invasive species in this situation with historic land. Because historic land bumps you to the top of a priority list, you know. Okay. If there's no other information, no other comments from the committee, I believe we stand adjourned. It's 4:15, 4:45.